What are T-Noobs for general disturbance? This is a GW Tiger, the Tier 9 German SPG. This one's located on the south spawn of Prokhorovka and it's under the command of Oxagon of the ENJ0Y clan, and with him in platoon in this battle in the Kampfpanzer Sieg is Soul Collector. Game on. Well, 3 marks of excellence on the barrel of the howitzer, but there's also a broken hand on Oxagon, I'm afraid. Yes, he broke his hand quite badly the other day, but he's playing through the pain. Yes, so even though he's got a broken arm, or broken hand, he is still playing the game. Well, Soul Collector's gone up front to try and get some spotting for him. And he's armed with the 21cm howitzer, which is the top gun on this Arty. 900 alpha, 53mm of pen, 11.4 meters burst radius, and a stun duration of between 12.5 seconds and 31 seconds. But it does have a much longer reload, 40.27 seconds for the reload, but he's managed to knock that down a bit to 30.72. Direct hit on the first hit on a Renegade. Unfortunately, we lost one of our teammates there. The Batchat 12-ton got too close. Or was it? No, it's the enemy Batchat that got too close, rather. He got taken out by the Progetto 46. I've got that wrong. Okay, but they're indicating they think the enemy might be in the bowl area. Meanwhile, that Renegade's still in sight. And we're almost loaded. Lining up another shot. Rounds out. Another direct hit. 280. Yeah, that Renegade's not going to be too happy, because if he keeps getting struck like that, he is going to be out the game fairly quickly. Our fellow Arty in this game is a 212A. He's decided to site himself next to the railway line. But up on top of the hill, we've got a large number of, they've got a couple of enemy tanks up there already, including their Kampfpanzer Sieg, a Wizzy 111, and a few others. That was a splash. Yes, and there's an Object 274A there, and I think he was a little too close to that explosion because he got stunned by it, but he still hasn't lost any hit points. Now, you don't get a whole lot of ammunition with the GW Tiger with the Top Gun. You only get 15 rounds in total, and we've already popped off 3 rounds. Going for the 274A, rounds out. Well, it exploded between 2 vehicles there. He got a piece of the Kampfpanzer and the Object 274. It's always a bad move for enemy tanks if they get to the top of the hill, but they can't advance any further because there's lots of our tanks on the other side, right at the top. And ooh, that 212A just got a direct hit on one of the enemy tanks up there. But it's bad news for them because there's not a lot else they can do except maybe shoot at the centre line if our guys are popping up to shoot from just behind the train. There is a way out of it, actually. Tactically, you can use the dip, the lake, and go down there. Well, that was a miss. That looked like that one landed directly outside the map area. You can, medium tanks can actually go down into the dip, into the lake, and try and bypass whoever's on top of the hill and force them to retreat, come back round and try and defend their rear, because if they don't, then they'll get caught in a trap. So that normally works if you get that sort of situation. Another one goes too long and we miss the Kampfpanzer, but we do get some stun off him and some damage. Down to 9 rounds now. So he's already used up 1/3 of his ammo. Meanwhile, at the centre line, we've got AMX M454 and an ENJ0Y has come up on the west side of the map. And I think that's the one that's being spotted by Soul Collector. We've lost sight of him though. Oh, there he is. Oh, now that's painful, that one, because that one didn't do any damage whatsoever. It hit the rim of the bowl. I say bowl, but you know what I mean. It's that area at E2 and F2, which forms a kind of bowl area whereby enemy tanks, or from either side really, can go into there and hide from, almost hide from the enemy from either side. And there's the M4Y again. He tries again. This time round, he does make contact, and it's a big one, 452. And it looks like the Skoda was happy with that because he's ticking affirmative. So maybe it was him who actually picked up the spotting instead of Soul Collector. Now, the GW Tiger is not made from the Tiger 1. No, not made from the Panzerkampfwagen 6 Ausführung A. It was actually made from the Panzerkampfwagen 6 Ausführung B. Yes, the Tiger 2, or King Tiger. Another hit slamming into the side for 378. Yes, the Germans never actually made an Arty based on the Panzer Tiger 1.
This is a reminder.
Alexa, stop. Oh, so many times that happens. Yes, they never made an Arty based on the Tiger 1. They only made an Arty based on the Tiger 2, and it was still in development at the end of the war. And another shell doesn't do anything. Sometimes when I'm doing videos, I really should remember to switch off Alexa, but it's so often it happens. Anyway, yes, so it's made of the Tiger 2 hull, but they only have one actual vehicle in production, in prototype at the time, and it was discovered at the German testing center. Can't remember exactly where it was now, but it was actually the Americans who actually arrived there first, and the British arrived shortly afterwards and went in and inspected the vehicles they had in development. Oh, and he gets the kill on the M4Y. That's his first kill of the game. Now, they had almost completed the vehicle. Originally, the design was that they were going to have a dismountable gun which could actually come out of the SPG, mounted on the ground using that big round plate at the rear of the vehicle, which was not a recoil distributor. That's a good hit as well. And they were going to mount the howitzer on the ground using that plate, and I think it would still distribute some of the recoil, that plate, but there you go, there's the plate right at the back. Now, the reason he is moving is because the enemy has managed to do that trick that I mentioned, where you can actually bypass the tanks on top of the hill, and they've managed to capture the hill by going through the lake down below. And Oxagon spotted that on his minimap and has decided, yeah, he needs to move. And unfortunately, the 212A's suddenly realised too late that he's been left all alone. He should have moved earlier. If he'd used his minimap, he would have seen it. And it looks like he's not going to last very much longer, because the enemy have reached the railway line, and if he doesn't get killed by one of those tanks, and he has, the 274 got him, then the Arty would have got him instead. The enemy Arty in this game, by the way, is another GW Tiger and an M53 M55. Rounds out, and oh, he got the kill! He killed the Striv 1030, who stayed there a little too long and did not depart the area after making a few sneak shoots, and got wiped out. So that's second kill for Oxagon. The enemy just lost their Progetto 46, and we're now 2 tanks up on the enemy. But they've got the railway line down at the bottom, which means they're closer to our cap than we are to theirs. We're down to just 2 rounds of premium HE explosive now, so this is where it gets really difficult. Although Oxagon can do a lot of damage with those shells, because with the standard shells he gets 900, with the premium HE he gets 1,200, and 66mm pen, and that's his second to last shell, so now he's only got one shell left. He's already got 3,000 hit points of damage and some stun assist. Not a lot, 373, but only one shell left, and the enemy is now getting close to our cap area, so he might have to move out of this area and move into the west side to avoid getting taken out. Okay, he's loaded, but he's not going to fire until he gets a certain target to shoot at, something he can really damage. I mean, ideally under these circumstances, you hold your fire until one of the enemy tanks decides they want to try and go for the cap area. But I'm not so sure they would succeed, because we've got a Scorpion G and a Progetto 46 covering the cap. And if any enemy tries to get across that line, they're going to get spotted by the ELC Avon 90, who's a little further up in the field. And then the Scorpion G and Progetto will take them apart. So we're now just watching to see if there's any target we can hit. The Wizzy 111 is on the bank behind the railway wagon. We can't get a shot on him. We're looking for that AMX M451, really, more than anything. Ramps out. And a nice hit, solid hit for 423. But now we're out of ammo. We've got nothing left. So 3,500 hit points of damage. I'd take that. That's a good score. Those 3 marks of excellence on his barrel. Yes, he's played the GW Tiger quite a lot in his time. And it looks like Soul Collector's doing rather well, because he's got his first kill. He took out the enemy TS5 up in the north of the map. We're 2 up on the enemy now. And I think we actually have the advantage. Only 5 enemy left. Normally under these circumstances I hit the reload button just to tell my teammates I've got no shells, so I can't help them. But at the moment Oxagon's doing his best. He's moving up. And he can act as a spotter, but he's only got a view range of 295 meters. He can't hit the enemy tanks, but he can certainly spot for our team. And it looks like he's decided that's what he's going to do. There's only 4 enemies left now. We've located the GW, and Soul Collector gets the kills, so that's 1 more for him. 3 kills now for him. And he just got spotted by someone. Now I suspect that's probably the 274A down by the corner. There's no enemy Arty left, so he doesn't have to worry about a shell coming in from above. He can imagine any enemy shell hitting that box at the back. It's going to cause a lot of damage. And it is one of the easier Artys to actually take out, because it's long and thin and has to remain still to aim, because it's only got a 5-degree arc either side of the center line. So it has to remain still to dial in on its target, because if you move the vehicle even slightly, then it's dialing all over again. The enemy's just lost their Kampfpanzer 50, and that means now that there's only 2 enemy left, and they're both over the railway line. The Wizzy 111 and the 274, and the 274 just spotted us again by popping up over the railway line. Our ELC's going in to harass, and the Kanonen Jagdpanzer's gone in as well. And that's it, the game's over. It is a victory, and a nice one at that. Here's the end of battle results, and that was the 2nd class tank for Oxagon in the GW Tiger. He also got a Bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 11. And considering he's got a broken hand, that's a very good result indeed. Let's have a look and see why he didn't get any medals. Well, we can see on this that Soul Collector, his platoon mate in the Kampfpanzer 50, got 4,057 hit points of damage out of that game. He picked up a high caliber. And the second highest damage was Oxagon. Yes, 3,785 went to him. He did get 1 hit, which I think was a blind hit, as a result of which, yes, he did pick up some assist. some damage that hadn't actually been recorded. So he's in second place, and third place went to the Kampfpanzer vom Sieg on the enemy team with 2,898 hit points. When it came to kills, though, it was shared between Soul Collector, the Jagdtiger, the Canonian Jagdpanzer, and the GW Tiger and Object 274 on the enemy team. And in joints, well, Soul's second place actually, because there was nobody else who had 2 kills, was Oxagon. He managed to get 2, the others all got 3. And when it came to base XP, it's Soul Collector who's top with 1,275, and in fact he was the only one to get over 1,000, and a nice over the 1,000, so he must have been doing a lot of spotting as well as damage. Look at that, 3,243 spotting, some of that belonged to Oxagon, 4,057 hit points of actual damage, and he was still alive at the end of the game, so well done to him. Okay, and when it came to the others, the Skoda got 906, and then we've got Oxagon with 862, so he's in third place on base XP. He fired all of his ammo in that game, 15 rounds in total, 8 direct hits on the enemy, no penetrations though, which is odd, but there again, it is a tier 9 game, and you'd expect him to have some difficulty. If he's hitting enemy tanks and he's hitting them head on, he's probably hitting the heaviest armor, and it would be difficult to get pens unless you know exactly where the weak spots are. 17 splashes though, which means that he was hitting some tanks more than one at the same time. 3,785 hit points of damage, all of it at more than 300 meters. Damaged 7 of the enemy, killed 2, so he just missed out on getting that Confederate. If he'd only killed one less tank, or if he'd actually hit one more vehicle but didn't kill it, then he would have got his Confederate out of that one. He got 373 hit points of stun assist off 13 stuns. Now, that's not so good, and that tends to make me think that maybe the targets he was hitting were ones which weren't in sight of his teammates at the times he hit them, and that's why they weren't able to get shots on them. And it really does help if you can hit targets which are in perfect sight of your teammates, because then they all rattle the shells in, especially if you use the T key to indicate to that target, to your teammates, that that target is a prime target for hitting. On a premium count, he earned 29,890 credits for the game, and after resupply of ammunition and consumables, and it's the consumables that hit him really here, he actually ended up with a loss of 2,501 credits, 862 XP, 647 for tactical training, 194 for playing in a platoon, and a good platoon it was too, because obviously you got the high caliber in the platoon for Soul Collector, 2,134 experience points altogether. So even though he's got a broken hand, he's still putting out really great results. So well done to Oxagon on that. I mean, I'd be satisfied with a second class if I've got a broken hand. I tend not to play if I've got a broken hand, but yes, needs must. If he wants to play, he's got to play. He's got to play with a broken hand, but he's still getting good results. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.